Are you sick and tired of feeling sick and tired about your weight loss? Are you tired of looking in the wardrobe and realizing that half the clothes in there don't even fit you? Are you tired of sort of dodging social events or feeling self-conscious at social events, or even being the person when you go to an event, you're always behind the camera because you're too embarrassed to be in front of the camera? Well, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 6 things that I think you need to understand that are going to help you to not only successfully get started on weight loss, but to be able to lose the weight and, most importantly, keep it off long term. And point number 3, I think it's going to maybe shock you a little bit. And point number 6, well, that's going to make the big difference. So you need to watch all 6 in order to get the benefit from this video. So without further ado, let's dive into what number 1 is. So number 1 is, and this will be counterintuitive to what you've probably heard before and what a lot of other probably coaches out there are saying, and that is, do not expect to keep the weight off that you lose. Now, hang on. What kind of weight loss coach are you? Surely you should be saying, lose the weight once and for all and never put it on again. Well, that simply isn't the reality. And you know that already. Most people that lose weight not only gain the weight back, more often than not, they gain back more than what they lost in the first place. You know, so if they started off 3-4 stone overweight, they end up being 5 stone overweight. So what's going on? Well, one of the reasons for that is people are set unrealistic expectations. And what do I mean by that? Well, look, I live in the real world, you live in the real world, and we are surrounded by food. And I think society is now set up in such a way it's so easy to overeat. It's unbelievable. If you go back 20, 30 years ago and you just look at the size of a typical coffee that you got in a coffee shop, the cup was about like, sensible small size. Now you've got all these different versions of sizes of coffee, right up to a grande, and there's even one where you've got the the 2 handles on the cup. Comment below if you've ever drunk or seen one of those cups with the 2 handles either side. I mean, it's crazy. So rather than thinking in your head that you are going to lose all this weight and keep it off forever and a day, I say to my clients, give yourself a weight range that's acceptable to you. So in other words, if you're looking to lose, let's say, 4 stone in weight and you take that off, then what would be an acceptable amount of weight for you to put back on again before you'd have to maybe start to rein things in again? Well, it might be £10, it might be £14. But why is this important to do? It's important because if you get down to your lightest weight that you think you want to be, and you feel as though you need to stay there, mentally that is hard work to stay within a pound or 2 of your lightest weight. You'll feel like you'll feel like you're on a diet all the time. Whereas if you give yourself some margin, it takes the pressure off. You feel less conscious about what you're eating. You still have to be aware, but you set yourself a limit as to how far you're prepared to go before maybe you have to start reining it back in a little bit. And that's just life, because let's be honest, you are going to be faced with a lot of situations where food is going to be around. So that's number 1. Don't expect to keep all the weight off that you lose. Set yourself an upper range so that you can then rein it back in when you hit that upper range. Number 2, recognize and prepare for what I call the weight loss calendar. And you're thinking, Eric, what is the weight loss calendar? Well, the weight loss calendar is Christmas, Easter, birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, weekends away, coffee mornings with your girlfriends, unexpected events. All these events where food is central, that is where potentially you could derail your weight loss attempt. So you need to recognize that these things are going to be coming up, and you need to plan ahead for these things, because if you don't plan ahead for them and you just go into them with no plan, I can almost guarantee the wheels will come off, and it may take you several weeks, even months, to get back on track again. Now, going into these events with some sort of a plan is better than having no plan. So a crappy plan is better than no plan, but you need to recognize and have some sort of plan going into those weight loss calendar events. Number 3, I said, might shock you. And number 3 is you need to anticipate a level of jealousy from your family, your friends, and your work colleagues. Now, you may be sat there thinking, Eric, no, I don't have anybody in my social network, family network, or work network that would be jealous of me at all. However, you may have. And I'll give you one quick example. I was training a client of mine, and we were training up for Race for Life. A group of ladies I was training for Race for Life. And she'd invited a friend down for one of the training days one Sunday morning. A friend turned up who she'd not seen for 6 or 9 months, gave her a big warm embrace, And then she told me her friend burst out into tears. I said, why? She said, because she couldn't believe how much weight she'd lost. And what had happened was my client, having lost the weight, basically put up a mirror to her friend who also needed and wanted to lose some weight, but it made her feel terrible. And that's what can happen more so with women, I would say, than men. I mean, if you go into any coffee shop, any weekend retreat, any hairdressing salon where there's women around gathered together, I can almost guarantee weight loss will be one of the topics of conversation. Comment below if you agree or disagree with that. So you need to anticipate that, but one of the ways you can antidote yourself against people feeling jealous or trying to sabotage you, or making comments about what you're doing, is just to keep it to yourself. That's what I say to my clients. I just say, look, keep your weight loss journey to yourself. It's nobody else's business. And if you keep it to yourself, it means that if one day you decide to have that slice of cake, that alcoholic drink, that packet of crisps, if nobody knows what you're doing, you can do it without any fear of anybody sort of pointing the finger, looking at you sideways, or your partner maybe saying, should you be eating that? If you keep it to yourself, you can do what the heck you want. So that's number 3. Number 4 is to decide how you are going to track your food intake. Now, I know this is a big bone of contention for a lot of people. They will say, I don't want to count calories, Eric. I don't want to weigh and measure anything. I just want to eat intuitively. Well, look, if you are now overweight, and I suspect you are, that's why you're watching this video, and you are gaining weight, then trying to eat intuitively has its upsides, but has its downsides as well. So let's deal with the upsides first of all. Eating intuitively is natural. That's the way we should all be eating. And let's say you eat intuitively for a week and you lose weight. Fantastic. And then the following week you try and repeat intuitive eating again, but this time little things creep in because you're not tracking, you're eating intuitively. You get on the scales and the weight has not only not gone down, it's actually gone up this week. Suddenly start thinking, oh, intuitive eating doesn't really work. So that puts you on the back foot. So that can be a negative. Counting calories. What are the negatives? Well, counting calories, you could become a little bit food obsessed, potentially. The pluses are, when you count calories and you weigh and measure what you're eating, it at least gives you an objective starting point of how much you're consuming. And once you understand that objectivity of how much you are eating, portion sizes, the amount of calories you're consuming, once you know what that looks like, you can then, after losing some weight, so let's say you do calorie checking and counting and weighing and measuring for a period of time, once you've seen your weight come down significantly, that's when you can switch across, I believe, to intuitive eating, because you've got an idea of what you are intuitively thinking about eating and what you should be eating, versus just trying to do it from the outset. Because when you do it from the outset, again, you could have a whole week of intuitive eating, lose no weight at all, and you just feel really distraught. Now, before I get into number 5 and 6, just to let you know, I've put below this video a free assessment called the Boost Weight Loss Assessment. Click on the link below here, it'll take you to a page, answer a few simple questions, take you no more than 3 minutes, and you get back a full-blown report that will give you a kickstart for your mindset, your eating, and your exercise. So you can click that link below this video at the end. Okay, number 5 then is understand that more exercise doesn't mean more weight loss. It really doesn't. And I know this from a personal standpoint, and I know it from a professional standpoint. I'll give you an example from my own personal life. So when I hit my 50s, that was probably the first time I had to really start thinking about losing weight seriously. And I worked my arse off for a good 3 months. I mean, I've always trained, but for a 3-month period of time, I put a bit of extra effort in. Some days I was training twice a day. And at the end of 3 months, how much weight do you think I'd lost? End of 3 months, professional coach, ex-physical training instructor, working his arse off, sometimes twice a day. I lost a grand total of 1 pound. 1 measly pound. Because I thought I could exercise my way out of a poor diet. You can't. Exercise should be kept separate from food. So your exercise should be viewed as, getting your heart rate down, maybe getting off medication, improving your joint strength, posture, reducing risk of osteoporosis, sarcopenia, muscle wastage. So it should be treated as all those health benefits. That's why you're doing it. You're not doing it to lose weight, because you simply cannot do enough exercise to offset that Kit Kat packet of crisps and that whatever it is glass of wine you've been drinking. You just can't do enough activity. So more exercise doesn't mean more weight loss. Please, please, please don't make that mistake. And number 6, this is the one that drives you. This is the one that keeps you going when you start to maybe doubt yourself a little bit, when you feel less than confident, when maybe you feel like giving up. And it is, what is your why? Why are you wanting to lose weight? Now, this can be broken down into 3 specific areas. And I break it down into 3 areas because I like to think of this like being a stool. One reason is like a one-legged stool, very difficult to sit on and balance. 2, a little bit better, but still difficult to balance. A 3-legged stool, boom, it's rock solid, it's perfect. You can sit on it, you can build from that. So what are the 3 whys that you should be considering as to why you want to lose weight? Number 1, and this is the biggest driver, and a lot of people embarrassed to admit this, but if they're being honest, it's true, and it's vanity. We want to look good. We either want to look good in our day-to-day clothes, we want to look good when we go to social events, maybe we want to look good on the beach, maybe we want to look good in the bedroom, but whatever it is, we want to look good. Most people want to look better in some sort of situation. And we shouldn't shy away from that. We should actually embrace it and think, yeah, okay, fine. I want to look good. You know, why not? So that's number 1. What's your vanity reason? Number 2 is, what is your health reason? Now, this is a little bit more serious, of course. It could be maybe your blood pressure's gone high. Maybe you're at risk of osteoporosis because you've got it in the family. Maybe you're at risk of coronary heart disease. You've had that in the family, or any other medical condition that has been prevalent in your family, or that you're on the path to potentially experiencing because your weight is too high. So that's number 2, your health reasons. And number 3, which is I think almost interchangeable with number 2, and that is your hobby reasons. Now for me personally, I love playing tennis. So that's a reason for me to keep myself as fit as I possibly can. So I get out on the court and I can hit a few balls with my son and anybody else I choose to hit tennis balls with. Yours might be walking. Maybe comment below what your reason is for a hobby. But if you've got a hobby that you are trying to get fit for, that is going to help as well. So those 3 things combined together will give you longevity. Those 3 things combined together are the reasons why I see many of my friends that I've known for now 30, 40, 50 years are still reasonably fit, still reasonably active, still reasonably healthy, because they haven't focused on just one thing, i.e. vanity. They've looked at their reasons for being healthy and active and eating well across those 3 areas: vanity, health, and hobbies. And I think you should do the same. So don't forget, click the link below this video to access that free Boost Weight Loss Assessment, answer a few simple questions, take less than 3 minutes, and get back that personalized report that will kickstart your mindset, your diet, and your exercise. Bye for now.